Welcome to Soto Creations, where we make your imagination a reality. Today I am bringing to you a drape backdrop. No balloons this time. I would like to show you how I put together this backdrop. Now, I don't have a lot of Kente fabric, but that's the material I want to highlight today. I have this handmade original Kente, which is a material that originates from Ghana. It's handmade, thick, high quality fabric, and you'll see as I go through the video how harder it is to use for a backdrop. But I wanted to use this to see how it will turn out. Just one of those things I imagine and want to see it come to life. So I paired it with some sequin fabric, some four-way stretch fabric, and I'll explain all this as I go through the video. I hope you enjoy. If this is your first time tuning in, please consider clicking that subscribe button, and don't forget to click the like button as well if you like what you see. And if you've been watching and you haven't subscribed yet, I would really appreciate if you would join us by subscribing. It really supports my channel. Thank you guys so much. Without further ado, let's get to draping. I have my pipe and drape kit already set up. It's 8 foot wide. You can see the measuring tape right there on the floor. I leave it there so that when I start putting my actual drapes, I'm able to center everything to make it look symmetrical. I thought about using my gold sequin, but when I put the colors together for all the fabrics I'm going to use today, the gold did not work. This champagne color, however, made the design look very pretty, and it's not a transparent fabric, sorry. This is a heavy, you can see the back part is well sealed. It's not see-through, and it's thick and heavy, and I only use 3 panels here because it's for the first layer, which is just the coverage. It has a lot of shine to it, and it just gives that shimmer that you need to elevate a backdrop. These types of fabrics cannot really be used for your swoops per se because they don't swag very well, but they're great for like the back layer as I'm doing. I have used it in the past in some of my other videos, and you can see you don't get a good swag with them, but you do get a design as well. So I'm using this extra long valance hanger. This wasn't very necessary for this design. When I started out, I was planning to make a 4-layer backdrop and ended up making it a 3-layer. That's why you see me using that. Now I'm attaching my second crossbar so that I can attach my second set of drapes. So you see me making adjustments just to make sure that everything is nice and stable. And now we're going to start with our Kente fabric. So like I said, this is handmade, originally from Ghana. It's woven, handmade, and all stitched together. Very beautiful fabric. Of course, they come in several other colors. I'm glad I showed you a close-up of it because now when I look at it while editing, it looks purple, but that purple is actually pink and blue. So I'm going to use safety pins if you have a fabric that you don't want to sew down, or that you're just using to as a one-time thing for your backdrop. You can use safety pins to attach them to the crossbar, and that's what I'm doing here. Once I can get this in place, then I'll be able to gather it. Now another thing is this fabric is very thick, so it's not going to swag at all. So this, compared to your champagne sequin that I put back there, it just gathers. It's very thick, but you'll see me make adjustments and try to use my hand to create the pleats on the fabric because I'm determined to use this fabric at this point. I have this navy blue 4-way stretch fabric that I'm using as well. I think I mentioned in a previous video, when I started buying my drapes, I bought them in yards. So I bought 5-yard rolls, and I cut them myself and sewed the section that you put onto the pole. When you buy them from CV Linen, you get both ends sewn, so it's easier for you to pick up the fabric and just put it on the pole rather than find the end. And I might end up doing that to this. So I found this shimmer sequin lighter blue that I ended up changing my mind and adding it to the backdrop. I really liked how it elevated the front of this backdrop, just to give it more dimension. The more dimension, the more texture you add to your backdrops, the more elegant it looks and just elevates the whole design. So this was a great move. It was worth me taking down all the blue and inserting that in for sure. So what I was saying was that I use, my drapes are 15 feet tall, which allows me to do backdrops that are even up to 14 feet. I haven't had that opportunity yet. I can't wait for that to come. So I had to just explain that, and you'll see it's harder to wrap that base down because you really have to curl everything up so that it doesn't look too bulky on the bottom. And you just watch me attach the panels for the pink fabric to go with the pink that's on that Kente material. Now is I think the tough but worth it part for the backdrop. You have to make sure that everything is nice and centered, that all your colors are even on each section. So you're not only measuring the center point, but you also measure each individual fabric, how much space it takes up on the crossbar, so that you can make your design even. Because when you start putting your drapes together and tying them together, your design will not be symmetrical if you don't do this. I'm extending some pipe cleaners because eventually when I'm designing, it's going to be thicker. So I'm connecting to twisting them together, and you see me tug on it, it's not going to come apart. I also have single pipe cleaners that I'm going to use to put this design together. I'm going to lay out my top fabric that I'll use. I'm using the same blue. It's a 4-way stretch fabric. I decided to add some safety pins. As you can see, the top of that Kente fabric is kind of sticking out. Once I gathered it, I decided to tuck that in as well so that I can have a better clean look. I'm bringing you closer to show you how I create this swag at the top. So you want to pin it on 3 points, the sides, and you just hold the fabric with your left hand to lift up that left side, and you hold this on the right hand to lift up the right side. So you hold with one hand and kind of create your swoop with the other hand. And same thing here. You have to do this with good fabric, otherwise it does not come out how you want it to. And now we're going to create some pole covers. This, I don't know, the fabric is pretty dense. Like I said before, I'm using the same champagne, taking one panel of that champagne color, which is about 60 inches wide, and I'm just using my thumb to tuck everything in and gather the whole thing until I'm able to slide that pipe cleaner through. It's a tough one. I decide not to go all the way because the fabric is so thick. So then once I'm past halfway, quite a bit of distance past halfway, then I'm able to then start tucking in from the other side and find a way to tuck that pipe cleaner in all the way. See if I can find it, and then you want to twist that together. Now you don't let it go till you have it completely twisted, because if you lose it, you have to start over. And there you go, it looks gathered in the middle, and that is going to cover my pole. Or you can use it for to enhance your little outfit if you want. Just kidding. But that is the pole cover. It's just gonna sit like a cap over the ends to cover the pole and just tie in with the design. Now I have that pipe cleaner in the middle, don't like how it looks, so I'm going to use some fishing line. I love how fishing line always comes in handy when you're trying to be discreet about tying stuff or putting stuff together. Now coming close up again, we are going to gather our Kente fabric, the star of this design. I'm using my fingers to straighten things out so that you can see the pleats in the fabric. Next, we're going with this shimmer blue. It looks more like a royal blue fabric. We're going to tie that to the bottom. As you can see, the Kente fabric is short, so I tie it at the very bottom, and then my other fabric will follow after that. I'm gathering the champagne so that it's out of my way, and I continue to gather this fabric, but this time I'm going a bit more loose with how I gather because I want it to form a nice design towards the bottom so that it's not completely straight. But I have to use my hand to adjust the fabric so that it's all nice. And again, this next second panel for the blue, navy blue fabric, I'm even looser with it. See how it kind of hangs down a little bit and creates that nice drape effect. So it's coming together very nicely. I'm doing the same thing here on the opposite side, not as loose as the right side, but again, I can use my fingers to make adjustments as needed. Just kind of move that fabric while holding the other piece and make sure it's nice and even and it looks the same, and the pipe cleaner twists right there and holds everything in place. Initially, I was going to add the pink to this whole design, but then I decided that I wasn't gonna do that. I was just gonna attach the pink to the bottom and create the design from the bottom. But obviously you can create whatever design you like. It just, I'm bringing you closer up so you can see I attach it to the bottom of my pipe kit, and I'm going to do the same thing with the other pink one, just do a crisscross design. Another thing with this crisscross design, you'll notice once I do attach both sides to the base, then it's not centered. You can see where the middle of my drape doesn't cross right on point, and I am looking to make sure that it's centered. I try to move my whole blue gathered fabric in the middle to see if it works, and it doesn't move. So then I just pull onto the right pink fabric and it centers everything in place. Now time to tuck my long drapes so that it looks presentable. Tuck it to cover those poles, fluff it up, roll it from the back and tuck. And this finalizes the design. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. And of course, let me know in the comments below if you have any questions for me, or if you have any decor ideas you would like me to produce. And I'm finalizing everything here. One last touch I decide is to get a little piece of the same Kente fabric that I had. This is more to tie on your hair. I'm going to roll it up and use that to hold the middle piece so it covers all the pipe cleaners that I use to attach my drape. And there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. There'll be more coming pretty soon. Thank you for watching.